idea of being a rock star entrepreneur, this idea of pushing yourself to a growth rate that really is extraordinary, that's why you're out here tonight. You didn't come here because you wanted to see if you could create a lifestyle business. Are you familiar with what I mean by a lifestyle business? A lifestyle business, not a bad business, but a business that just allows you to kind of move along, not have to have a job or work for someone else, but it doesn't propel you to any heights. It just moves along over time. You've been told, how many of you have read books or gone to classes or listened to tapes about selling? If you've been through that process of listening to that kind of information on selling, you've probably got to believe that the best way for you to get out there is to lots of activities, lots of phone calls, lots of meetings, trying to go ahead and network and touch base with as many people as possible. Because the more people you move your message out to in the marketplace, well, gosh, at some point, someone's going to go ahead and discover you, right? And you're going to get that opportunity to go ahead and do a big piece of business. And I'm going to tell you, that's crap. Here's what I know. If you waste all of your time in a lot of places with a lot of people, you don't give much time or energy to any one place or any one person. And then by doing that, you spread it out. You diminish its value, and you go ahead and put yourself in a position of not potentially being successful. Our goal or statement would be, is that, as a matter of fact, you have to focus on a small portion of the marketplace. Because bad things happen when you go out and sell big sales in the marketplace if you talk to everybody. What about your businesses? Do you provide extraordinary opportunities for your customers? Do you provide a remarkable chance for them to make more money, improve their relationships with their end customers, have a fantastic product or service? If you do, then you have the right to go ahead and stand tall and say, look, I'm going to qualify you to determine whether or not we should do business together. If you go to my website, I have a resource center. All the materials on there are absolutely free. And one of my blog posts on there, it's at huntbigsales.com, is called Brando Don't Audition. And it really talks about the right of an entrepreneur to carry and hold their swagger, to be able to go ahead and push out there with a lot less of kind of the Oliver Twist, please, sir, may I have some more? Don't you feel like that right now? Do you not feel like in some ways you walk in the door and you're already on the knees groveling? I'd like to see if maybe you would give me just a few moments of your time to go ahead and talk about my product and my service. And my answer is, at that point, you've really reversed the relationship as it relates to what you're bringing to the table. If you've made the decision that you can ask the 2-card questions and disqualify all those people, all those companies who are either not a good fit or are not worthy to carry or work with your product or service, you put yourself in the position for a much stronger conversation. Second best practice is the idea of solving the real issue. You know, in organizations, when people make purchasing decisions, at a manager's level, they are really just looking for utility. They're looking for lowest price, it's in my budget, it meets whatever specs I've been given as a part of the purchasing process. There's not a lot of creativity, they're not paid for creativity. Their window of evaluation is typically somewhere less than 90 days in length. They make their decisions along those lines. But as you move up the food chain, the ideas that people buy, the solutions that they're seeking, and the time frame from which they're going to go ahead and derive the value expand. So I'm going to tell you, if you're going to be successful selling large accounts out in the marketplace, you have to solve different issues than what you would solve for your smaller or mid-sized sales. So small folks buy utility, they buy price, they buy speed, they buy convenience, they buy quality. They buy the iron triangle, right? All the things we were taught in school about quality and price and speed or convenience. But what do the folks who buy the $1 million deals buy? The 8-figure and the 9-figure deals buy? Those folks buy only 3 things. They buy time, they buy money, and they buy risk. Third best practice for folks who grow really, really quickly is to get a bigger buyer's table. You can sell somebody with a checkbook on a one-on-one relationship because it's actually not the relationship that sells. It's the trust. See, the speed of trust is the speed of sale. And so developing the relationship with one person, you can only get them to buy as big as what? Their checkbook. And big organizations don't allow people to have big checkbooks anymore. Not alone. Not without other people there. And besides that, the overall organizations are more complex. They've got supply chain management, enterprise resource planning, customer relationship management systems, all these IT systems, and all of these practices that work through the organization, just-in-time inventory, all the specs that are in there, make it impossible for anybody to get a big deal done alone. So you've got two choices. Because you've probably done what I've done, right? You've gone into somebody and said, I'd like to ask you, who's the decision maker, right? And they always say, I am. And we know they're not. Because the minute the proposal comes in, what do they say? Well, I'm going to have to run this by somebody. You know, I like to spend a little bit of time with the guys from IT and see what they say, right? If you're going to do a big deal, you're going to need a big table. Because you're going to need all the people in the organization who are going to touch this deal. Because Mr. Hero, your buyer, who's so excited about what you have to offer, he's fired up. Can't wait to have what you've got. And everybody else in the organization looks at you as one of two things, and probably both. You look like either work or risk or both. And so their goal is to do what? Get him distracted and push him off about bringing you on board. That's what it sounds like, except they don't go ahead and challenge him. They don't go ahead and say to him, hey, listen, we shouldn't do this. This is a stupid idea. They say, I'm going to tell you what, boss. This is a great idea. This is exactly what we ought to do. Once we get that Oracle upgrade in 2011, let's start on this. As soon as we get the cultures together from our recent merger and acquisition, let's start on this. As soon as the budgeting cycle's over, let's start on this. It's always yes, later. So here's my advice to you. You need to start off with the bigger buyer's table in mind. Who are you going to touch in the sales process? Who can shoot you at the water cooler over email, by voicemail, in the hallway? Because you got two choices. You're going to deal with those people. And you can either deal with them in the bright white lights of the ring, or you can deal with them in the cold, dark shadows of the alley. How many of you have gotten a deal cut off from somebody you never met? Most of us. Because we didn't bring them to the room because we thought the relationship was going to be enough. But it is the speed of trust that dictates the level of sale. And you're going to need a lot more trust from an organization rather than one person if you're going to get the kinds of deals that are transformational, the kinds of deals that are going to go ahead and give you your break.